My name is Andrew Chimphondah. I'm the current Managing Director of Shelter Afrique, which is the largest Pan-African housing institution in Africa. In fact, it's the housing bank for Africa. Shelter Afrique is owned by 44 countries in Africa, and then the African Development Bank and the Africa Reinsurance Company. However, Nigeria on its own is a very strategic market for Shelter Afrique. In fact, it is the most important market. Why? Because according to our Center of Excellence in Shelter Afrique, we estimate the housing shortage to be 56 million in Africa. Out of that 56 million, the single largest country in Africa is Nigeria, with a shortage of 22 million. Now, if you look at the countries that go after Nigeria in terms of shortage, is 3 million in Tanzania. You're also looking at other countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo. And then after that, the 2 million is Kenya, South Africa, and we can mention a few more. So Nigeria is a very important market. Nigeria is a very strategic market, and we as Shelter Afrique find Nigeria as one of the most important countries that we would like to make a difference in terms of assisting in resolving the shortage of affordable housing. So Nigeria is the third largest shareholder in Shelter Afrique, so they literally are one of the biggest owners of Shelter Afrique, with the African Development Bank being the largest. Then coming after that is Kenya, and then you've got Nigeria. So because of that and because of the size of the market, we as Shelter Afrique have come to Nigeria. We've set up a regional office in Nigeria, and we've also made sure that we also employ Nigerians in strategic positions within Shelter Afrique to help guide the strategic direction for Shelter Afrique. So just to mention a few, our head of the Center of Excellence is Dr. Mohammed Gambo from Nigeria. Our communications director, Babatunde Oyateru, from Nigeria. Our accountant, financial manager, Adedeji, is also from Nigeria, and we've made sure that the person who is in charge of our regional office, Elizabeth, is also a Nigerian, because of the importance we place in Nigeria. And for us to have an understanding of the Nigerian market, we need to work with Nigerians. That is how we operate as Shelter Afrique. Shelter Afrique is very passionate about the Nigerian market, being a Pan-African institution. And when we look at the history we have with Nigeria, we've approved 51 projects. Those are valued at 181 million. Let's talk for 2019. In 2019, to deal with the demand side of housing, we approved 20 million worth of projects. Wema Bank, 9 million. Lapo, another 7 million, and then Prudential Mortgage Bank, another 3.5 million. So the challenge we've had is that we are there approving projects, but the deals and the money we are approving is not being taken up. The reason why it's not being taken up is because there are challenges around how you handle the currency risk. Let me explain the currency risk. So we lend in dollars, but those dollars now that we lend to our counterparties like the big tier 1, tier 2 banks, they on lend that in Naira. So of course the banks do not want to take the risk, because at the end of the day, the cost to get cover for that forex exposure is too high, and then it makes the end product not competitive. So yes, the currency or exposure risk is a fundamental risk in the Nigerian market. But on the supply side, the big issue we have when we want to lend money is the issue of titles. We, as a housing bank for Africa, look at title deeds as a form of security, and that is an area that still needs to be developed so that we can lend. That is why, as Shelter Afrique, we've now put together a new business model. The business model is now premised on public-private partnership. So we are looking at partnering with developers that have a track record and government institutions, so that together we can be able to structure financing deals to be able to deliver large-scale affordable housing on the supply side. But on the demand side, we as Shelter Afrique will continue to provide lines of credit to Tier 1, Tier 2 banks. Shelter Afrique can provide products no other bank can provide. We can provide 10 years, longer than other banks. We can also provide competitive interest rates. The issue we have to deal with is the exposure, foreign exchange cover.
Housing is fundamental to the physical, mental, social well-being and quality of life. In Nigeria, a large proportion of people live in slums and unplanned settlement because of their inability to own a house or rent decent accommodation. On this program, I analyze the challenges affecting the housing sector with stakeholders to provide solutions. Each episode gives an insight into the housing plight of Nigerians.
Most of the prices of those buildings are on the high side.
How can the housing sector be made better? Will the dream of owning a house by an average Nigerian be achieved? What strategies are the government putting in place to provide affordable and decent housing for all? Let's bring you up to speed on the happenings in the housing sector. Keep your dates.